this is Tia and welcome to another video. Today we are in, we're reading the next chapter or a couple of chapters of Clockwork Chronicles Defender, which is basically a Liam perspective. Not quite Hermitcraft yet, like since we're in Lovely World in this case, but we may or may not be heading over there in a little bit. So yeah, this is my Clockwork Chronicles universe, where basically it's my alternate universe, or AU if you want to say, but like basically it's just me talking, sharing stories of like putting YouTubers in these stories and seeing what happens. Basically I've been doing that with the Hermits over the last few years. After I finished reading the Clockwork Chronicles just before Season 8 started, and was working on Season Clockwork, which was before Season 8 started, so like it's been a few years. And I'm still going, and eventually it will have to end, but of course I can always do more stories in the future. But yeah, it just depends on what people want to see. This sort of stuff isn't typically what people enjoy, but you can listen to this, you can watch this. It doesn't matter what you choose to do. It just matters. Like, I'm fine with you not reading these if you want, but like, yeah. I'm just sharing stories and seeing how it goes. I don't expect anyone to see it. I know Stumpy has known about it at one point. Known about the Clockwork Chronicles stuff. I don't know if any hermits do. I haven't gotten any responses from any of them. But I do tag them whenever it's relevant. This series isn't necessarily relevant. Although it mentions the hermits, it doesn't necessarily yet feature them. I'm just hang in there. We've got several more chapters left. Chapter 5. Liam sat on one of the many beds in the large room, watching the glass cylinder as water poured down to the lake below. He looked down at his bandaged arm, where the soldier had struck him. Liam let out a sigh. He thought he'd been rid of the bandages by now. At least the injury wasn't as bad as his burns. The burns that had been ordered by the man who wanted to take everything from his family. Everything from him. The boy closed his eyes, taking a deep breath as he listened to the sound of running water and the puff of sparks from the torches. The room felt cozy, especially with all the beds. He couldn't believe that the room didn't have much other room to be a room. I don't even know what this is. Maybe a living area, but a far cry from the houses he'd been in before. It was odd, but somewhat comforting. Like a room with multiple purposes. Multi-purpose room. I have one in my church. That's just a random fact. He opened his eyes when he heard the sound of footsteps, looking over toward the hallway as he spotted Sam heading toward him. He was alone. There were no helpers, feline duckling, or any of the younger teens with him. Sam smiled warmly at his brother as he approached. Feeling better? A little? Liam frowned, shaking his head. I couldn't sleep. Nightmares? Sam tilted his head, an expression of concern on his face. Why, hello there, phone. Don't get too bent out of shape after that. It's on vibrate. I didn't just put it up. He does hurt. I felt that. I don't have to be sleeping to see those images. Liam sighed. Sometimes when I close my eyes, I can see Stuart running through streets, pulling children away from their mothers, cutting down anyone who tried to interfere. I saw him start fires that burned homes, shops, and workplaces. Sometimes people inside. Yes, it's getting a little dark. I do say on point that this is not for kids under the age of 13, unless the parents are okay with it. It just could bring nightmares, especially when you got your favorite family-friendly creators there. I keep saying it. There's a reason for that. I try not to go too dark, though. I typically like a little dark sometimes. Excuse me, I am getting distracted. Now, Sam's eyes widened with horror. Liam nodded solemnly, looking down at the oak floor. How could Campbell think of bleh. How could Campbell think any of this is okay? These are his people. I don't know. Liam swallowed, kicking his feet back and forth. All I know is that he wants us to pay. He let this happen to our home, Sam. What if Dad and Connor were... Don't think that. You don't know that, Sam snapped, his eyes flashing with anger for softening. For all we know, they might be out there somewhere, hiding. Do you think Campbell would just let them get away? Liam asked quietly. Would let anyone get away? Kids have managed to get away, Sam said softly. Tears pricked the boy's eyes as he nodded. Maybe physically. The nightmares. Oh, the nightmares. Sam bit his bottom lip thoughtfully. How many kids have joined you at the school since Campbell started this? Too many, Sam. Far too many. Liam choked back the tears as he sighed. They watched as the men burned everything to the ground, sometimes seeing their friends and family. Liam didn't finish the thought. Couldn't finish it. He knew what many of the new students had said. Many he'd overheard. It's not something you can just move on from. Not easily, Sam agreed. Stampy struggled for almost a year from nightmares sometimes. Sometimes still has them. But he knows now that when he wakes up, he'll be surrounded by those he cares about. Those kids have that. You have that. Liam wiped away his tears and he nodded, giving his brother a hopeful smile. This is how it all started. Did you know that? What do you mean? Sam frowned, tilting his head curiously. Rose read some journals from Eli that she uncovered in his secret office, Liam said quietly. Eli had done some research about Mr. A and RJ's hometowns to find out what happened. Turns out it was raided by YouTubers. Many people kidnapped, killed, and their homes burned to the ground. Did he even find out their names? Sam's eyes sparkled with intrigue. Liam shook his head. She hasn't found that information. But still, he took a shaky breath. This is far more complicated than we realized. Sam nodded, glancing back towards the hallway. Where are those journals now? She hid them for safekeeping, Liam said quickly. She wouldn't let me see them. Told me there were some horrible things Eli had seen that she didn't want me to read. Sam looked down at the floor. Well, I guess I have to talk to her about it then, don't I? Yeah, Liam replied reluctantly. Those were one of the secrets I managed to hide from Stuart. Sam smiled, meeting his brother's gaze. You are stronger than you realize. You know that? Liam returned the smile. I can say the same to you. You could? His older brother shrugged. Maybe we all are stronger than we think we are, regardless of who we are or where we come from. That's certainly true. A voice replied near the storage room as the two boys jumped. Liam stood, turning to see a floating milk bucket as the speaker consumed the liquid, reappearing. Liam let out a sigh of relief. What are you doing here, Carl? Sam asked with a frown. I came with orders from your aunt. Carl lifted his chin confidently, pulling out a slip of paper as he offered it to the older brother. She sent a note to the school for Tom earlier this afternoon. She got a report that Gerald was on the move from one of our moles. What did he want to do? Liam furrowed his brow. That's what she's afraid of, Carl replied, shaking his head. There are many he could target. Everyone we know is safe, Sam insisted. Eddie, Martin, the Hermits, Stacy, and Lizzie? They're safe, right? She wanted me to check in with the Hermits, he replied, seeing as one of them was the one who injured Gerald. Campbell might want payback. Scar, Liam whispered. Carl nodded toward the boy. My point exactly. And you two told me of how Korean was concerned that Gerald would go after him, correct? Yes, sir, Sam nodded grimly. So why aren't you there right now? Why are you here? Your aunt and some others had concerns about you two being so close in proximity, especially close to one of Campbell's known bases, Carl said blandly. It's not a good idea to put all your eggs in one basket, one might say. Hermits do it, Liam pointed out. We're stronger together. Perhaps, Carl nodded, looking between the two of them. But it makes stamping more vulnerable to attacks. This base isn't safe enough for the both of you. I'm not going anywhere, Sam stated matter-of-factly. I'm not saying you are going anywhere, Samuel. Carl smiled gently, facing Liam as he added, Your aunt feels your friends need you a little... Bleh. Your aunt... Your aunt feels that your friends need a little more protection. The hermits know you pretty well, yes. I've helped them a few times, Liam said sheepishly, not looking up at the man. Mainly with beat-ups, though. You did help Graham when Nettie's home was ambushed, Sam pointed out. It's a good thing she called him. Liam smiled at his mother. We were able to handle it. Everyone got out safely. Precisely my point. Green approached you to help his friends, Carl said calmly. He could have easily approached Matthias or any of the other protectors. Instead, he knew he could turn to you. Liam nodded, understanding the man's point. Do you think I'll be safer there than here? I'm saying they'd be safer with you there than here. Carl mused a smile. Campbell finds any threat towards them, they will need all the help they can get. You've got more experience than anyone in these sorts of times. What about Sam? Liam looked over at his brother. Space doesn't have the security it needs to keep him safe, like the hermits do. I may or may not have considered that, Matt said wistfully, pulling out a shoulder box and tossing it down at Sam's feet. I had some redstoners recreate some of Impulse's sketches for you that he so graciously sent us after the attack at the school. Sam smiled at that and nodded. He knelt toward the shoulder box, opening it. The older teen rummaged through the box before he replied, I think I can make this work. Thanks, Carl. Don't mention it. Carl beamed at the boy. I'm here to help you and escort your brother safely to the base. I've notified Matthias that I will be there to check in. You're not telling him I'm coming along? Liam raised an eyebrow. Carl shrugged. Safer Campbell doesn't know you'll be heading there. There's a less chance of an attack waiting for you. So, we must be quick and quiet. Are you sure it'll be safe? Sam frowned, looking uncertain. I give you my word, Samuel. Carl put a hand on his heart. I will do everything in my power, even to the expense of my life, to ensure your brother arrives safely to his destination. Sam smirked at that. Well, that's not what I expected. What did you expect? The man flashed a smile at the boy. When I make a promise, I intend to keep it. Is that why Tony trusts you so much? Liam tilted his head curiously. Some of it, Carl said distantly, his eyes unfocused, as if remembering something, before he shook his head. I've known Tony for quite some time, and I understand just how much he cares about both of you, and your safety. Tom and Rose certainly feel the same way after an attack on your town. Liam Winston nodded. I wouldn't blame her if she wanted to lock us away for our own safety. Yeah, that worked well last time. Sam snorted, shaking his head. Carl chuckled. She knows you want to help, to stop what that man is doing. Well, right now Gerald is out there, causing who knows what kinds of trouble, and we need to make sure. He was cut off by the sound of buzzing as the man instinctively went for his pocket, pulling out his communicator as he frowned. He pressed a button as their aunt spoke through the speaker. Carl, do you read me? I do. I'm picking up the package now. Is there a problem? Carl furrowed his brow as Liam took a step closer, stopping when the man put up a warning hand. Gerald made his move. You need to get to the destination as soon as you can, Rose said firmly. So that's an affirmative? Carl looked uneasy. Affirmative, but no losses on our side. Rose replied. Carl sighed heavily in relief. What? What's going on? Sam demanded before his aunt or Carl could continue. Sam, what are you doing here? Rose asked in alarm. I live here, Sam pointed out. Rose chuckled. I suppose I should have rephrased that. Was he just talking to you when I called? Yeah, Sam agreed, looking over at his brother. Are you being cryptic? You can never be so sure these days, Sam. You know that. Impulse may have been able to create an unbreakable system. That doesn't mean someone can't steal one of his and use it. She explained. They found ways to stop us before. Nothing is truly safe. How bad is it? Liam asked. What happened? Is everything okay? Sam, I can't give you more than I have. She apologized. I promise we'll talk later, okay? You'll find what you need soon. Yes, ma'am, Sam replied quickly. Liam eyed his brother, who looked both amused and concerned. You should get going. I will take care of everything, Carl reported. I give you my word, Rose. Be careful, she whispered before the call ended. She did not want anyone to know I was there, Liam admitted, hearing his brother giggle. Here's the secret package, Carl said calmly, pocketing the device. But I'm afraid if Rose is right, Gerald didn't make his move recently. Are the hermits okay? Liam's eyes widened. I hope so, Sam replied. She did say there were no losses. Yes, but it doesn't mean that he wasn't able to cause any damage, Liam determined. Which means I need to get you to the base as soon as possible, Carl said calmly. Where's Stempy? I need to let him know the situation. It's only right. Upstairs in the clubhouse with Squishy and our interns. I'll show you. Sam hurried toward the hallway. Carl and Liam following without question. Are they okay? Liam whispered once his brother was out of earshot. Part of me wonders if I should have stayed, regardless of what Matthias said, Carl said. Not that I don't trust him, of course, but sometimes we can seem so sure of our capabilities that we fail to spot the holes near here. Liam nodded. Not everyone is perfect. I know. Carl smiled sadly. But I don't want to seem too pushy or insistent either. That has gone south in the past. Liam shuddered, remembering how Jared was so insistent that Stampy wasn't who he said he was, even beating him to try to get him to talk. He'd done it all behind closed doors, persisting that it was for their safety. In reality, the man was trying to break the cat down, perhaps even reveal secrets that he could use to his advantage. I get it. Carl patted the boy on the shoulder with a hand as they began to climb up the stairs. The smile was everything Liam needed. Knowing the man didn't have to say anything. He knew Carl meant well and wanted to do everything he could to help them. I'm glad you're on our side, Carl, Liam admitted once they neared the top of the stairwell. I'm not sure where we'd be without people like you. People who care. It's the least I can do, Carl said softly. Sad look in his expression before he cleared his throat, squaring his shoulders as he made it up to the clubhouse. The others looked up when he arrived, clearly surprised by Carl being there as Sam explained everything that had happened earlier downstairs. Liam knew it wouldn't be long before he got to see his friends again. He couldn't wait as he smiled, seeing Stumpy step aside with Carl to talk quietly together. Sam stood at his brother's side, Liam knowing full well that no matter what the distance, his brother would still be there whenever he needed it. Oh boy. That's already been like almost 20 minutes. Chapter 6. My nose is running. And I guess it kind of sounds like it too. About an hour passed before Liam and Carl were finally standing in front of the portal. The man stepping forward to check the coordinates, pressing a few buttons before he was satisfied. You need me to grab your hand or arm or something? Liam asked him curiously. Carl hesitated before nodding. It's not a bad idea. Last thing we need is to get separated. Although I doubt that it'll be a problem so long as Campbell doesn't know we're here. Liam swallowed, looking around at their surroundings. He didn't see any sign of life. No looming shadows in the darkness, nor bubbles barely visible in the brush. It's quiet. Almost too quiet. Are you sure this is safe? Liam asked nervously, grabbing for the man's shoulder, keeping his grip firm. Safe? Can't guarantee anything is safe, Liam. Carl said calmly. I can only promise that I won't let them take you without fight. Last time they attacked, it wasn't to capture me, Liam pointed out. Really? Carl raised an eyebrow. Liam explained how the men had cornered them an hour earlier and how they'd been attacked by Campbell's men. They were mainly after my brother, Liam replied. Campbell thinks he's got secrets that I don't know. So, Campbell doesn't see a use for you? The man tilted his head. Other than leverage, really, but then again, I wasn't the only one there. Liam swallowed. Stampy is also close to Sam, too. I see. Carl nodded. Well, I won't let them hurt you again, if it comes to it. Liam smiled weakly. Thank you, but I think we'll be fine. Carl returned a smile, stepping forward as the two of them slipped through the portal, letting the light consume them, and Liam stumbled onto the other side of the familiar terrain. The forest around them was quiet, but not as quiet as where they'd come from. Liam looked around at his surroundings, not seeing anything out of the ordinary. It doesn't mean trouble isn't there. It's just hiding, waiting for you to be at your most vulnerable. A voice whispered into his mind as Liam shoved it away. We need to get moving and hope we don't run into trouble. Carl didn't say anything, as he followed shortly behind the boy, keeping a hand on his sword hilt, cautiously. The late afternoon sun shone through the trees, casting light and shadow that scattered the paths before them. Both travelers didn't say much on their journey. Liam didn't mind. It was probably for the best. The less was said, the less chance anyone might find them. The goal was not to be seen. Liam lifted his chin, reaching into his pocket as he held the strength potion that his brother had given him. Sam had told him to take it as soon as he could after he got through the portal, if he felt dizzy or lightheaded in any way. So far, Liam felt fine, but he knew he had to be careful. One splash from a potion, even from a witch, could be dangerous, if not deadly. He had seen what happened to Scar, how the hermit had been splashed with the harming potion shortly after returning from Lovely World through a portal. The hermit had been in a coma for 3 days before finally waking up. Liam wanted to avoid that if it was possible. Liam looked ahead as the trees started to thin, spotting the wall that surrounded Gem and Pearl's bases. He could see a lone tower just briefly through the trees, as well as a hint of a second being constructed. Wow, hermits have gotten to work on that after all, Carl said in contentment, more to himself than the boy. He thought it'd take longer to get the materials. Over 20 people are living around this area, Liam reminded him. Any of them could have lent some materials to it. Right, Carl smiled sheepishly. Liam could see the gate a moment later as he stepped over a hill. Matthias was standing beside the gate, watching the path calmly. A curious expression appeared on his face when he saw the boy. I was under the impression it would just be you today, Carl. Welcome back, Liam. I was too, before I got a call from his aunt, Carl said simply, gesturing to the boy. Can we get some privacy inside where it's safe to talk? Yes, of course. Follow me. Matthias said, strolling toward Gem's base just as the front door opened and a figure stepped out. Liam's eyes brightened when he recognized the hermit. Beat-ups! Liam waved as the hermit glanced over, nearly dropping his bundle of logs with surprise. Don't let us stealth hold you up, kid, Carl encouraged with a chuckle, waving him toward the hermit. Liam didn't need to be told twice as he crossed the meadow and reached his friend. Liam, what are you doing here? Beat-up's gray eyes were wide with delight. Last thing I remember, you were recovering. It's a long story, one I probably shouldn't tell while so out in the open, Liam grinned. Need help with the load? Sure, take half. Beat-ups nodded, offering the bundle as Liam hefted about half off the pile, carrying it as the two friends walked side by side. So how have things been over the last 2 days? Sappy's working on an escape room, Liam replied calmly. Aiden and Aaron are settling in well. That's great, Beat-up said excitedly. It's a lot to get used to. It's not every day you become friends with a talking cat, much less other animals. Liam laughed. Tell that to Sam. He dropped into Lovely World under their pursuit by one of Mr. A's men. Oh my, that has to be a huge reality shock. Beat-up the cast. You just have to get used to it. The worlds are full of surprises. Liam shrugged. Like dogs that can tell. Yep. Beat-ups chuckled, dropping his bundle next to the nearby chest. Liam did the same. Want to help with the interior while we talk? It's a bit more private. I'd be happy to, Liam smiled. Not much of an interior designer. I'll teach you, Beatles proclaimed, patting the boy on the back as the door opened. Oh, hello, Pearl gasped in surprise when she saw the two of them. You startled me out to death. Sorry, Pearl, B-Dibs giggled. Liam was about to tell me all about everything that's been going on back in the lovely world. I want to hear. Just give me a minute to grab some things, she beamed, dashing over to the chest. Liam chuckled. Are you sure you want to know? Every word, B-Dibs said confidently. I missed you, you know. Liam stepped into the room, seeing that there was some furniture on the floor. It was next door. You were asleep, B-Dibs pointed out. I wasn't about to interrupt your recovery. Liam nodded, picking up a flower pot from the floor and putting it on a table. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, that's why I want to catch up, B-Dibs said brightly, as Pearl slipped into the room, closing the door behind her. I heard your nightmares were pretty bad. Liam swallowed. Tense. Just like Grant's. B-Dibs looked over at Pearl. He gave us quite the fright back in Lovely World. He's not the only one, Liam said sheepishly, his cheeks burning. Woken up my brother at least 3 times now from nightmares. B-Dibs chuckled. Anyone else? Aiden heard me screaming and got stabbed. Liam's cheeks reddened more. Hey, it happens, Pearl said with a gentle smile. Yeah, I had terrible nightmares too. I woke you up many times, B-Dibs grinned. Liam nodded. I guess so. Stumpy wanted to give the interns a tour around the town and Funland a bit. It's good to get some fresh air. Fresh air is always good. Pearl smiled, taking a seat on the armchair in the corner by a bookshelf. You two aren't alone here, are you? Liam frowned wearily. Isaac and Josh are upstairs. She pointed toward the stairs. They're helping set up part of the wall and windows. Ah, Liam relaxed with a smile. So what have you two been up to? Trying to keep ourselves busy, really. B-Dibs said half-heartedly, kicking the rug at his feet. He glanced over at Pearl. Green was helping us when it happened. What happened? Liam frowned. You don't know? B-Dibs asked. Rose only told me that Gerald was on the move and that he did what he came to do, Liam replied reluctantly. Oh, he certainly tried, Pearl said sourly, but Julius taught him a very powerful lesson. Julius is here? Liam swallowed nervously. Was. Right now, he, Luke, Blake, and Bulls are out looking for his mother. Pearl shrugged. Ellie, that's what I assume they're doing. I saw them fly off together. When was this? Liam asked. Oh, maybe half an hour ago. Pearl said casually with a smile. I won't worry about it. Julius really did seem concerned about Scar. Is he? Liam pressed. Scar's okay. Badly injured, but okay, Peter said quietly. Scar called Julius on his communicator in an attempt to get help before calling for Impulse via the link. Liam nodded. I can see why he did that. Yeah? Pearl met his gaze, her large teal eyes bright and vibrant. He wouldn't have wanted to put his friends in danger, Liam replied. So he tried to call one of the protectors, but called Julius instead. Pearl nodded. I can see that. Eliza and Caleb were also hurt during the attack. Gerald hadn't hurt them too much, fortunately. What about him? Did he get away? Liam frowned. There was a shared glance between the two hermits before B-Dibs shook his head. No, he did get away. Where is he? Liam pressed. Nothing, but that's just now. B-Dibs shrugged. He's dead. Dead? Liam's head widened. Are you sure? Positive. B-Dibs nodded slowly. Julius finished him when he tried to attack Scar on Impulse. He wouldn't allow him to hurt anyone else ever again. Liam closed his eyes, not saying anything for a moment, before he slowly nodded. No one told Rose about this yet? We didn't want to risk camp out finding out too quickly, B-Dubs replied. Julius warned us that once he found out, we might be in trouble. Understanding hit him and Liam smiled. Right. You want to see him? Pearl asked curiously. Is that okay? Liam asked hesitantly. Of course it is, B-Dubs exclaimed, jumping to the boy's side. He's your friend as much as ours. You could probably see something that Haley or Jump might have missed. Or Blake, Liam added. He's pretty good with potions, too. You know what I mean? B-Dubs teased, nudging the boy playfully. Liam looked away, trying to hide his wincy smile. Now that everything's been mostly caught up, can you tell us why you're here? Pearl asked curiously. Rose felt you would need my help, especially if the worst happened, Liam replied. Besides, probably did inform her that there was a situation, but hadn't revealed Gerald's fate yet. Now I understand why. Beatrice nodded. They're both trying to protect us. No one knew I was coming, not even Matthias. Liam chuckled. Carl stopped by to pick me up an hour ago. I would have come sooner, but you had to make sure everything was clear. And Stampy wanted help setting up the invisibility detectors Carl brought. Good. That place needed it. Beatrice nodded matter-of-factly. After what happened to Tango, I did not want to go near that waterfall in the storage room if I didn't have to. That's honestly fair. Liam smiled weakly at the hermit. So you're here to help us? Pearl grinned, getting to her feet. Yeah, you need an extra hand, especially if there's a threat coming, Liam replied. Well, while Caden recovers, Green will need someone to watch his back. Pearl said happily. Wait, what happened to Caden? Liam demanded. Beatrice laughed. I think we should have started at the beginning, Pearl. He cleared his throat, growing serious. It happened when we got back, not long after the interns arrived. Green was showing the boys and Eliza to their rooms when one of Campbell's men snuck in and tried to kidnap him. No. Liam's eyes widened. Why? We don't know, Pearl admitted. But he called for help, and Eliza was able to buy us just enough time to rescue him. Not without a little bit of injury, though. Caden's fine, but seeing as he doesn't have the healing factor like us, he'll need some time to heal. Where's Green now? Liam tilted his head. With Scar and Eliza. Beatrice gestured behind him toward the direction of Jem's base. He hasn't left Scar's side since the incident. I should probably see how he's doing then, Liam replied, glancing toward the door. He's safe right now. I wouldn't worry about it, Pearl said cheerfully. It's just when he's out here helping us that I'm worried about. Do whatever you need me to do, Liam said firmly, as Hermit smiled. We know you will, Beatrice patted him on the back, just as they heard footsteps coming down the stairs. They're back, Josh said, stopping when he saw the group. Liam, what are you doing here? It's a long story, Liam chuckled in amusement as Pearl sprung to her feet and went for the door. Huh? We might as well tell us on the way, Josh replied, Isaac peering a moment later. Not outside. Liam shook his head simply. Why not? Isaac frowned. This kind of stuff I don't want just anyone to know, especially not Campbell. Liam smiled reluctantly. You sound like Carl, Josh joked teasingly as Beatrice stood by the door. Come on, we can't let Pearl have all the fun, Beatrice insisted, as Isaac chuckled, the group heading out of the tower. Liam looked up, seeing this and finally edging toward the horizon. It was early evening, and he knew the night would be fast approaching. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one, whenever that might be. This was a long video. I hope you enjoyed it.